AlexRaceChat here, speaking about Formula 1. Today we're going to do the second part of last week's video, where we talked about what the veterans drivers are saying about the 2026 regulations. Now we're going to jump into what some of the younger drivers think about them right now. And I'll be honest, for some of these guys, it's not the same as the veteran drivers at all. So let's talk about what some of these younger guys actually think about this, or they handle it differently. Driver number 3, Max Verstappen. Right off the gate, Max has been the loudest guy about these cars and regulations. He basically called them Formula E on steroids and said they're not a lot of fun to drive because so much of it is energy management instead of flat out cornering. Yeah, Max said that. He even said this might be his least favorite era in F1 so far, which for a guy who's driven since 2015 to now, it's kind of wild. His words were basically, it's not very Formula 1 like, and you end up focusing more on seating management. Maybe it's better to drive Formula E. And honestly, that's such a Max comment. I mean, I'm not saying he's quitting, he's still gonna race, but he's definitely not like, yes, this is amazing. And he is one of these guys that are saying that energy management is what's going to define this new era of F1. So we got driver number 1. Damn, it still feels kind of weird to say that. Now Lando. This guy kind of did a 180 compared to Max. At first he was like, it's different, it's a challenge. But then later he admitted he wasn't actually saying he likes it. He was just trying not to make everything negative. He basically said that yes, the cars are different and tricky and not exactly classic F1 in terms of raw fun, even though what the drivers like is being ahead of everyone and like basically qualifying, like some people like to describe it. But he still finds a way to enjoy the challenge. So we can tell Lando's vibe is more like, it's weird and different, but it's still Formula 1 and I'm doing it. That's actually kind of wild coming from someone who's a champion now, but he's not going out there ranting like Max. He's just jokes and keeping it up. Like the comment he said, if Max doesn't like the regulations, he can just go to a different sport, which is kind of insane, but you know. Hey, sorry for interrupting you guys. I know you guys are watching the video. I just want to do a quick reminder for you guys to like and subscribe, and I hope you keep enjoying this video. Oscar Piastri, driver number 81. Oscar hasn't gone super viral with his big quotes yet, but one thing that he did say in testing was that the new launch procedures that come with the regulations and starts are very tricky. He pointed out that drivers could lose around to 6 or 7 positions at the start if they mess up their energy balance on the grid, which is not normal and something we've not been used to in like the last few years. That tells me that Oscar is thinking very pragmatic. He's not yelling about the rules or anti-racing. He's talking about the real-world effects like the start and launch procedures being bonkers. That's very, very, very Oscar. Logical, rounded, and not very dramatic at all. Driver number 63, George Russell. George Russell's voice is kind of interesting right now. He's probably the most optimistic of the drivers we're talking about in this video. He said a lot of the criticism that these new 2026 regulations are receiving is premature. We can say in other words, people are complaining early, and honestly, the cars aren't that different from last year. He even said that a second test was smoother than the first, and drivers were starting to get used to the cars. That's very calm, don't freak out just yet mindset. It's the opposite of Max yelling about Formula E. Kind of funny, right? Then we got driver number 55, Carlos Sainz. He's more of a voice of reason. Even though he's not young anymore, he's already in his early 30s. But Carlos hasn't gone brutal or anything, but he's asked for the FIA and the sport to stay open-minded about these regs as the season goes on, especially the energy harvest and deployment side of things. His quote is basically, we might need to adjust the regulations a bit, especially energy rules, to make the show better. That's the I don't hate it, but let's tweak it a bit vibe. Not angry, not confused, just cautious about these rules. What are these younger drivers thinking? Here's a quick vibe check from what we've talked about. Max says this isn't fun, it feels more like energy management than the classic racing. The reigning world champ Norris, it's different, I'm rolling with it. Then we got Piastri, starts and launches are going to be wild. Russell, people are overreacting, give it time. Then we got Carlitos, let's stay open to changes, the rules if needed. So it's not all doom and gloom for the younger drivers. Some are laughing it off, some are grinding, some are warning about practical stuff like starts and race management, And that's pretty sick because it shows it's not just a unified reaction. Everyone got their own vibes. Final thoughts before we close off this video. If we compare these to the veterans are kind of like, these are big and complicated. How's racing going to work? We're making progress. Then the younger drivers are like, it's weird but still fun. Some parts are tricky. F1 is still F1. Relax, people. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a wild contrast. You've got Max yelling, "Formally on steroids." We got Russell telling people to calm down. Lando trying not to be salty, but at the same time he is. Piastri warning about losing positions at the start. It feels like every driver has their own brain about this, which exactly makes the 2026 regulations so sick. Let me know what you think is right, Max, Lando, or Russell. Drop it in the comments and like and subscribe, guys, and thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.